I woke up with a splitting headache. Lucy was there beside me, already up and playing with the buttons on a little handheld computer. There were lots of other people waking up all over the place, all around me, hundreds of them, and we all had a neat little pillow under our heads full of goodies. It was a stadium of some kind, not all that big, maybe 1,000 seats, and we were all lying on the playing field. I stood up and I could see people from all over the world. Oh, Chinese, Indians, Americans. Everyone seemed to have a headache, and a lot of dizziness. Some people were heading to the stadium washrooms off to the sides. Others were rummaging through the little duffel bags they had woken up to. Some of the Muslims seemed to be doing their morning prayers, but there was disagreement as to where Mecca was. Were we in the northern or southern hemisphere? This is a very impressive little handheld, said Lucy, fiddling with her gadget. Do you have one too? I looked in my bag. Toilet kit, inflatable sleeping bag, change of clothes, size to me, sleeping bag. Yeah, there it was. It seems to be able to translate, she said, pointing at the 40-ish lady speaking something like Russian, who was sheepishly starting a conversation with another lady in a silly bowler hat from the highlands of Peru or Bolivia, I guess. The computer listened to what she said and apparently translated Spanish or Quechua. I couldn't tell. Lucy and I went over our abduction. I didn't tell her about my blindfold being removed, and on the way, she had no idea where we were or why we were here. An Argentinian guy came up to us. Hello, do you speak English? He asked. Yes, we replied. Well, if we need to speak any other language, you touch the little picture of a mouth in the top of the screen here. Do you work here? I asked him. No. I just woke up here too. I was abducted from a business trip to San Diego. I am a professor of statistics, he said. My name is Cervantes. Do you know where we are? Lucy asked him. No, but I met a Chinese professor of geography who was working on the problem. I'm working on who we are. He said. What do you mean? Well, I am taking a quick census to find out who is here. I have one representative from each continent searching for all its peoples except for North America. We could find you some North Americans, suggested Lucy. That's what I was hoping you'd say. You'll notice the computer has a notepad and clock. I'm collecting stats on sex, occupation, age, hometown, and abduction stories. Meet over at the restaurant in 2 hours, Cervantes was very businesslike. I had noticed the restaurant. I didn't trust anyone. Maybe they were just pretending to have been captured like us. Maybe some of these people were our captors, or surely our captors would be showing themselves soon, telling us what kind of global concentration camp slaves we had become. In the meantime, I helped Lucy with a poll. It was harder than we thought, even including Mexicans. There was less than one North American in 25 people. The room was formally splitting into regions, with the Asians on one side, the South Americans in a corner, the East Europeans in another place, and so on. By the time we checked back with Cervantes, it was clear there were people from everywhere here, but more from Asia and Africa than from Europe or North America. I was sure it was disproportionate. I figured this was because we were going to be indentured laborers of some kind. We'd have to build another way out city out on the ice, out of ice, for these madmen. And the third world Asians were cheap labor. As it turned out, it was my racism showing. Cervantes added things up and did a few calculations. He conferred with the Chinese geographer and a Swiss doctor who had worked in population of birth control or something. Then he made the announcement. He spoke in Spanish, so most of the room held their computers to their heads like old transistor radios. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the conclusion that we are an exact, scientifically random sampling of the global population. There are exactly 1,000 of us in this room. 520 of us are women. 480 are men. 250 of us are Asian, are Chinese. 250 Indian, or that is including Pakistan and Bangladesh. A further 180 of us are from South America, South and Northeast Asia. Of the remaining 380 non-Asians, about 100 are from Africa, 110 are from South and Central America, and the rest, 80 North Americans, 80 Europeans, and 10 Austro-Pacificans. That is the conclusion. That is all the continents. Now, I'm in no position to theorize as to why we have been brought here, but the fact that we are a careful selection of the world population gives me hope. Perhaps we are on a kind of global jury duty brought together by the UN to vote. Professor Mishra, a computer scientist from Bangalore, has some evidence to back this up.